Welcome to the YoggNation, the Spirit of Gratitude podcast on the Integration platform. Hello, friends. My name is Yogesh Patel, and this podcast explores the themes of bullying, self-awareness, and the power of our inner spirit, including the silent battles we all face. Join me every week as I invite high-profile guests as we explore how adversity shapes us, how gratitude lifts us, and how we can all uncover the inner strength that we all have within ourselves. Join the conversation. I appreciate you listening in.
Hello, citizens. I am back for part 2 of my Best of Reels, where I reflect on the messaging from episodes 51 through 60, sharing moments of gratitude, overcoming adversity, and still being genuinely starstruck with the encounters that I've had from these inspiring guests, blending in humor, heart, with Ted Lasso-style optimism. Each clip, again, is a reminder that even in tough times, kindness, humility, and a little perspective can turn stress into strength. And for my first reel, I held my first annual gala on August 9th, celebrating the podcast's first year anniversary. 14 out of the 49 guests showed up, 70 people in total. And people saw yours truly bust out a couple of dance moves to impress the crowd, and had a few speeches delivered by previous guests who were grateful for their sponsorship of the evening. Thank you once again, Jean Patsiadlo, Vivek Patel, Tobin Smith, and Fairuz Ben Youssef. And here's what Tyler Copenhaver from the Bully This podcast shared.
There's a rule that I've developed recently. If you fear something and your heart is in the right place, you have to do it. You have no choice. There is no better way to help the world or to grow yourself than facing fears and doing good things for the world. So that is your checklist, folks. If you fear it and your heart is in the right place, you have to do it.
Simply put, right? The concept here was around focusing on bullying, and he saw an opportunity to help someone in need of bullying, and his heart just tugged at him, saying he must do it, he has to do it. And it's really around the courage to speak up, which is why I really gravitated toward this message. You know, the heart really is the center where more than your gut in telling you what to do in life. And so take that to heart. It's all about taking that bold step of boldness and courage, which isn't easy. That I understand. Next, was so blessed to have Elena Huffman, Hollywood actress, played a variety of roles, a lot of sci-fi genres, including Stargate Universe and the Supernatural franchises. Her latest movie, Waltzing with Brando, is now on Amazon Prime, and it was an awesome movie. Billy Zane, who plays Marlon Brando, nails the character to the T. You got to watch it, folks. And here's what I liked about what she had mentioned.
If I were to give my younger self advice, it would be, we have this saying, when you go into a casting, a lot of times casting directors will say, have fun. I never understood that when I was younger. I was like, have fun. I'm serious. Take me seriously. And now I'm just like, play. In all things, play. Have karaoke in the car with your kids. Enjoy game nights. Enjoy. Life is meant to be enjoyed. So enjoy your life.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, she generally echoes what I ask of my guests, and that is, what advice would you give your younger self? And I think for her, the simplicity of wisdom comes from age and all of her experiences, not to take life too seriously at any stage of your life, whether in your teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, it doesn't matter. Have fun, because that energy, again, projects onto others. And I personally happen to believe that a lot of life is learned outside the home and outside your computer screens. And so that's just a little bit of what I wanted to share there. Next is Great Grandmaster and Quanjinim Ernie Reyes. He was one of the martial artists who back in the day helped test Tony Robbins on his black belt. Pretty incredible individual. Now he has a lot of West Coast martial arts dojos around California and Western states. And this is what I liked most about what he shared.
In martial arts, that's one of the most important things. Fear is going to be existing, but it's how do you respond to it. You're only going to respond to it if you're trained physically, mentally, spiritually, and have good character. And those are the cores of what we said as a white belt. What is the purpose of West Coast martial arts? Is develop yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, and have good character. So those are all, again, fear factors, situations to overcome. Part of your thing is overcoming. One of your focus points of talking about, you know what I'm saying, is like, how do you overcome? You're not going to overcome anything and something's really challenging and you don't want to do it, but you end up doing it anyway.
Yeah, how often has fear set us back in terms of achieving the things we want in life? And I think Master Ray's articulates it so beautifully. And it also, another point that I got out of this reel was echoing what Tyler had mentioned earlier, having good character. I just think that you, at your core, are a good person. And it comes from an area of strength and not weakness. Good character is something that I fall by the sword, just in terms of the way that I live my life and the life I want to project onto others through my friends and family. So really great point about being that of good character. Next, Michael Earls, technology executive and growing LinkedIn influencer. And here's what he has to say about toxic positivity. Let's take a listen.
People meet me and they go, how are you always happy? How do you get out of bed every morning and be happy? And I always say, coffee brings energy, coffee brings power, coffee brings clarity to life. When you start looking at half full versus half empty, is that I've been around people that are half empty, and those are people I don't want to be around. I don't want to be around miserable people. Because what happens is you get sucked into that and you lose that joy of life because that's just how they are. They're suckers. And I always wanted to be the opposite. Every day I get up and I go, how do I improve? How do I make people happy? How do I make me happy? And then how do I make others around me happy? And it's that smile, that creativity, that generosity that comes out of me. And people see it. You know, people see it and they go, I want to be around that guy.
I think he eloquently puts it so beautifully. Again, it's not just about having good character. You never, or not never, but you try and shy away from people that do happen to drag you down in life. And what does that do to prevent you from being the best version of yourself? And it's been scientifically proven that your energy creates an electromagnetic field 3 to 5 feet. And so that transfer of good, positive energy, because it's all about frequencies that we exude onto others. And I just love Michael for that. And just in terms of being around like-minded people, I never want to associate myself with a person that does happen to drag you down and does give you that negative energy. It's just, I don't have time for that. I really don't. Next, this was a fun one, folks. Sidney Justin, former defensive back in the NFL who happened to get a Super Bowl ring, now lead singer for the legendary Motown group, The Miracles, founded by Smokey Robinson. And I had the privilege of seeing him in concert not long ago. So entertaining, especially with the other members from The Miracles, who definitely pride themselves on their dance moves. And maybe I can show them a few Bollywood dance moves myself. But nonetheless, here is Sidney Justin. Let's take a listen to his wisdom.
Love is not just between male and female, it's about people. Loving one another is the key to life. Everyone should lead with their heart and think about others versus just self. It's not that hard to just be kind to people. It's not difficult to offer your services to someone who desperately needs it.
Folks, are we seeing a pattern here? Again, just another one that doesn't need too much explanation. I mean, love is the key to living life. You know, it's love. It's that building of community. It's really not hard to put a smiling at a person. You know, who knows if that smile that you exude helps brighten their day from perhaps something that is miserable or going on in their life. And so it just lowers the temperature in all things. Not much else to say, in my opinion. Next, Santosh Kumar, vice principal of a middle school here in Nogales, Arizona. And boy, how many of us have been influenced by a teacher who cared about our well-being and inspired us to do great things? And Mr. Kumar is one of those educators. Let's take a listen.
Success is not just about titles or money. Staying true to your values and finding the meaning in your work, the purpose of your life, which I found mine, that is being an educator. The takeaway for the teachers is sometimes students discover their calling in an unexpected ways, and our job as an educator is to guide them with empathy. They can see it too, and then it can make them successful, not as a student, but as a person in life.
Words to live by, folks. To all the teachers like Santosh and previous guest, Roberto Hernandez, season 17 winner of The Biggest Loser. The legacy that you as educators and teachers, thank you for being an inspiration to them, helping them see something different about themselves, to have that good character, to be that good person. And I'm just so grateful that Mr. Kumar had the opportunity to share his wisdom and perspective, which his students all adore him, and I can definitely see why. Next, got Damon Bruce on deck, legendary sports talk radio host from the San Francisco Bay Area. And growing up, I had a chance to listen to him on the radio, sitting through traffic on the 101, and it was just amazing to have him. Thank you, Jude Wellington, by the way, for the recommendation to get him on the podcast. And this is what Damon Bruce has to say.
I tell my 6-year-old, character is who you are when no one is looking, which means, are you going to do your homework without me asking you to do it? Do you just do your homework? Are you going to pick up the coloring book and the crayons when you're done? Am I going to have to remind you to do that? Do you just do the right thing without having to be told to do it? And every single professional athlete you've ever met has spent more hours working on their craft than they do on the stage. It's an incredible endeavor to be a professional athlete.
Boy, I just love good parenting and what Damon and his wife have taught their children. It's all about good character. It's all about being a good person. And certainly I think that's the most resonant theme regarding this best of reels, is just for taking a step back and how to be that good person that you are, in spite of perhaps what others may have poisoned you in terms of being something that you're not. And, it goes back to character matters. The way you show up matters. The way you show kindness as a form of strength in society matters. And so, Damon, thank you for sharing your wisdom on the podcast. Next, Alan Travis, restorer of vintage cars. He currently drives the oldest Bugatti out there that he himself restored, 127 years old. And this is a person that has lived many, many lives through his cars. Let's take a listen.
If you're an engineer and you go to college to be an engineer, lots of time you're an engineer way before that. Or you're a farmer, you're an engineer, it's the same thing. It's kind of the same. There's no obstacle. You can solve everything. So by that mentality, whether it's a financial thing or a health thing or a car thing or a mechanical thing, I can get it done. Today we mounted an incredible fancy headlight on a car and there's no mount for it. Okay, fine. I'll start with a piece of bronze and start putting it on the mill and I have it done when I get done.
Yeah, and again, folks, the context behind this rule is that in our pre-planning call, he had mentioned that he'd never have a bad day in his life. And I'm like, don't you ever worry or stress or get angry or frustrated, all the emotions that come with not having life go your way. And being an engineer, he said that, all problems can be solved. And certainly I think it's the way he comes across addressing his problems, I think with a lot of good attitude. And mindfulness of the fact that he's an engineer, son of a gun, he can solve anything. And it's not coming from a point of bragging his chest. It's not that at all. I just think that it just comes from humility. And again, just to put things in perspective, he is a person that goes to these amazing international car shows, Pebble Beach Concourse and the likes. His Bugatti is paired with $150 million Bugatti, owned by a very well-known clothier. And it's, again, to have him be around these celebrities and successful business people, and for him to still be that person that is of good character, that's able to solve problems. Nothing is impossible in life. And I think that's the main message that he shared. And this next episode, I like to call it my soliloquy episode. And soliloquy means talking to oneself. Here's me talking to myself. The way that I look at gratitude, folks, is that everyone that you see, you always see them above the water. So if you have an iceberg, above the water, what do you see? You see the nice car, you see the nice house, you see the travel that they're doing. It's like, oh man, I'm kind of jealous of that. I wish I could be them. But what you don't see is what is below the iceberg. And what is below the iceberg, again, is the money worries, the health challenges, the anxiety, the family issues, the fear of a job loss. And that's certainly something you don't see at the surface level. And gratitude helps get you through this adversity. And that's the new direction of the podcast theme. Life sucks, life is tough, but gratitude turns that stress into strength. And, for everyone out there that is enduring a hardship or a challenge, the ability to keep on fighting, the ability to pick yourself up, get yourself out of that bad situation. Citizens, keep going, keep going, keep going. And I'm going to repeat myself, keep going, keep fighting your way to break that cycle of hardship you are currently enduring. Again, if I can be someone that people can say, hey, if this guy's gone through vision issues and hell and back, I think there's something to be said. And that's why I want to bring these incredible storytellers on the podcast to share their wisdom, to share their perspective, their knowledge on how not only adversity leads to success, but how they overcame adversity through what is in between the ears. And so lastly, to round up with the best of reels, this is where it's probably one of my favorite episodes, just because this guest speaks to the theme of Ted Lasso. Again, that belief in people when they don't believe in themselves, that humility, that grit, and that gratitude. Folks, let me introduce to you Malik Ben Yusa, ex-professional soccer player in Europe, who's now a professional coach in Austin, Texas. And this is what he has to share.
Be curious. If you want to become a better person, curiosity is a big part of it. For my faith-based practice and many others, seeking knowledge, almost all of them strongly encourage it. And that's what that means to me. Seeking the truth and being the truth seeker is trying to figure out what's really true and what kind of knowledge I can attain. If you ever think of me as that truth seeker riding in an ocean of sand, because I'm from Libya. The Sahara Desert encompasses all of it. For those who don't know, Libya is 3 times the size of Texas with only 7 million people. So it's very, very vast, and it's an ocean of sand. So think of me there. Just remember that is really the key to being a better version, is just seeking the truth and being curious and wanting to learn about others. That also helps you become and stay humble.
Yeah, I think wanting to learn about others certainly has sparked my curiosity to understand what it's truly like to see a person tick, what motivates them, what gives them worries. And I think Malik hits it to the T in terms of how to live that purposeful life with good character and to be curious about individuals, because we're all learning from one another and we're all learn from our environment. And then an environment comes from people. And you can always take away something from an individual after speaking to them, whether it's good, and I hate to say bad as well. But that's it, folks. Thanks for listening in. Hope these reels and the wisdom shared from these incredible storytellers give you a window as to part of their soul, which while achieving great heights of success. And so, if you've appreciated any reel or appreciated my 2 cents on their wisdom, I would appreciate a comment, a like. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from the citizens. It would be an honor for me to have you share this message to a person or persons that happen to see value, which is what we are all trying to do here in life, and that is help support one another with the best gifts that we have. I happen to believe that my gift is being curious about people and bringing these stories to life. So thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week with the next episode guest on deck. Take care, everyone.